What's up? Welcome back to Google Skill Shop, Google Mastery Measurements course. Here we go. What did we learn about yesterday? Well, we were in an activity on. We finished conversion modeling, I believe, possibly, and we started value-centric measurements, VCMs. Value-centric measurements is more advanced than just simple, basic clicks, site visits, conversions, impressions. These are simple. More complex but quality and value driven is value centric measurements, such as basically where you're assigning a value to different types of conversions or leads. Okay? You've got to define the value first of all. How do you define the value? There's three ways. You can give the actual amount, you can give a proxy amount being just a general idea how much this lead or conversion is worth to your business. And then there's predictive, which is based on like, well, we think that maybe this person's going to stay this long and spend this much with the subscription or something along those lines. Predictive wasn't covered that much, but those are the three ways to define data or value. And then to ingest data, basically to inject that definition into Google, there's three ways as well. First, Google site tags can probably capture the actual sales value. Maybe that's what they're talking about with Google site tags. You've got import. This is probably what we'll be doing eventually, is importing data back up to Google. And third, this is Google Tracker. These are other Google services that track for you, such as store visits and call measurements, something along those lines. Yeah, I think that's most of it. Was there anything left on the other activity to talk about? As in not the consent mode. We would have finished that one, I believe. There would have been another one after that. Enhanced conversions? No. Conversion modeling. Right, we did get a little bit more about conversion modeling. Observed versus modeled conversions. Observed, you're going to collect the data like on the site with cookies and indicators, and then attribute ad interactions with conversions. Modeled, you're not going to be able to collect that data for whatever reason. It's not a full picture of the data, so you're going to have to use machine learning to basically predict and model the ad interaction with the conversion. I think that's everything. All right. Simplest version of conversion value optimization. Right, so there's other forms of conversion value optimization, but VCM is the most simple, basic starter one. The three ways to ingest and define, good. Process of assigning values to conversions, good. And then observe versus models, good. Everything looks good. On that note, we will jump back into Skillshop, continue learning, and then I'll be back to recall in a bit. All right, guys, so completed the activity on value-centric measurements. Took a few notes. What would they be about, though? Read about a car company and how they used it. We read this little table about different industries and how whether they use mostly predictive, proxy, or actual. And then BCM. Target ROAS. Uncapping the ROAS improves the conversion value lift. I don't know why they're mowing. This is not the day that usually comes, 2 days early. Dang it, dude. What is the note about? What do we take notes on? Value-centric measurements. Value-centric measurements. I don't know. Conversion value rules. So these are rules you can basically assign to different geographies, geographic locations, different audiences, different devices. Basically, to define like redefine value, how much something is worth. So like example, conversions in New York are worth plus 20%. And it's just probably going to be based on specific business goals. Like we want to raise the amount of users we have in New York, for example. Okay, we completed that activity. We started it. I actually had the idea of basically we can do a lot of this tracking for like proxy for Google Ads. So we've got different campaigns. We can track through the funnel what they end up purchasing. We collect that data personally, and then we can kind of value based on that how many each different lead is worth. That's a decent way to start with value-centric measurement, and then we could target maximum ROAS instead of maximum conversions. That's an all right idea. I think we might need more data, but we need to have a better data collection system in place before we get into that. And then, okay. The next activity was Google Analytics, which I'm excited to get into Google Analytics. I want to set this up. Google Analytics seems to be really good for tracking everything. You're able to integrate data outside of Google into it, and you get to see the whole marketing campaigns. It's all modeled. It seems like a great tool, so I'm excited to finally start to learn a little bit about Google Analytics. But we're actually getting kind of close to finishing this course somehow. We may or may not finish up this activity tomorrow on Google Analytics, may or maybe not, but including this one, we've got 4 left because the 5th one, activate site-wide tagging, it just won't let me in. It's like locked for some reason. So we may only have 4 more activities and then the final exam. So this one's gone way closer, faster. I think this is like day 8? We're over halfway done. The last one we did like 29 episodes to complete. The search ads course, that was a longer course, but I've kind of reshaped the system, my learning system, in which I don't stop in the middle. I only do a recall at the end to just bring out the most important data. So, and I've also learned a lot more about Google Ads and the Google ecosystem. So everything's not so new that it's a lot slower to process. So anyway, that's it for today. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.